You've already learned a little bit about Google Drive. What I wanted to show you was how Google Drive can actually be used for some specific things for education. The first one I want to show you is how to create templates and use those with your students. Templates are basically like the equivalent of creating something where you would print it out and hand it out to students, but you're going to do it digitally instead. So I can go to Create, and I can make a template using a document, a presentation, spreadsheet, even a drawing. I'm going to just do a document for now so we can get a sample. Let's say that I was going to have students do some brainstorming, so I'm going to name this document Brainstorming. And so maybe I had some questions here for them to do some brainstorming. I'm just going to make it very simple. Maybe I could put a table here where they're going to make some lists of things or something of that nature. And so I have my template here, and this is what I want to give students so they can actually type in it and they can fill this out and then they can turn it into me. So to do that, I can go back to Google Drive, and now I have my brainstorming document here. I can check mark it. I can go to More, and then I can choose Submit to Template Gallery. Now, if you have your own Google Apps domain in your district like we do, you can see our logo here on the top left. When you submit to the template gallery, you can submit it so it just shows up for your district. So anybody that has a Google Drive account in your district, they'll be able to see that template. So all of your students and all of the other teachers that might want to use that template as well would have access to it. If you don't have that in your district, you're just using a regular free Google Drive account, you can still use the template gallery. It's just that you're publishing it to the public gallery. So you would submit it to the gallery, and then students would still be able to get to it in the public template gallery. All right? If you don't want to use the template gallery, there are still other ways to share that with your students. The best way to do that would be to go back into the document, and once I'm in that document, I go to Share on the top right, and instead of sharing with all of my students and putting their names down here, which would take a lot of time, even if I had them in a group, I wouldn't want to do that because I don't want them all to have access to that document so they can type in the same one. I want them to have their own document. So an easy way to do it is changing this from private, of who has access, to anybody that has the link. Anybody that has the link and then can view. I'll save that, and once I do that, it gives me a link here. I can just take this link, I can put it into my LMS like Edmodo or Schoology, so they have that link, or I could put it on a blog, or I could email it to them. And once they have that link, it'll automatically open up in their Google Drive, and they'll see the document. They just won't be able to type on it because it's as view only. So once they have it open, they just go to File, Make a Copy. Now they have a copy of it that they can actually type in. All right? Once they do that, then they can go ahead and turn that into you whenever they're done by sharing it back with you. Another great tool that you can use in education is forms. If you go to Create on the left and you choose Form, both you and your students can use this great tool. Basically allows you to do easy surveys, and the survey results automatically tally into graphs and into a spreadsheet. So I'm just going to call this Sample Survey. I could choose a theme if I want and press OK. And then I can type in my first question. It allows me to choose from multiple choice, if I want them to be able to type a paragraph or put in text or do check boxes, choose from a list, all kinds of different choices here that I can use. I can also go and insert additional questions, so I can add more questions to it. And once I have my form set and I have the questions that I want for my survey, I can go ahead and choose View Live Form, and then my survey shows up. Now obviously I didn't put any questions in, but you get an idea of how easy it is. I can then take this link and I can share it with anybody in the world, and they can take my survey from their computer or their phone or whatever. Once I've had people take my survey, I can then go to Responses at the top, and I can choose Summary of Responses if I want to see a summary, or I can choose View Responses to actually view those in a spreadsheet. Okay, very simple. It's a great tool for allowing your students to get real data. They can make surveys, they can get those results, they can use it as a part of their writing, they can use it in math, actual real survey results, real live data that they can use. Another great thing that you can do in Google Drive specifically for education is sharing folders. You'll notice here that Once you start using Google Drive a lot, you'll have a lot of files here in your Drive. And even if you go to recent, you'll see all of the files that you've recently been to. If, say, for example, you have 25 students, or even if you're in the middle school and high school and you have 150 students, if all of those students are sharing documents and files with you, it's going to become very cumbersome. So instead of that, I highly suggest that you have your students create folders and share them with you. This can work great as a digital portfolio. So I would have my students at the beginning of the year go to Create and choose Folder. And they would make a folder, and I'm going to call this Sample Portfolio. And you'll notice then that in my Drive, my Sample Portfolio folder shows up. My students then can choose the triangle and press Share and go to Share, and they can actually put your name in as the teacher and allow you to edit and send that to you. Now, for the rest of the year, they have that folder available to them, and so do you. So anything you put in the folder, they can see, and anything that they put in the folder, you can see automatically. So I highly suggest that when they start working on something, they put their work into that folder so you can see them as they're working on it live. It's not like before when we were using paper, when you had to wait until the student was done and then they turned it into you. Now they can share it with you, drop it into their folder right away, and you can see their work as they progress. And like I said, it also works as a portfolio. So now throughout the entire year, you can go back and pick a specific student. You can see all the work that they've done in Google Drive, and you can see that all right there easily, right within their folder. I suggest for our teachers that are in the middle school and high school that they actually make folders over here on the left for example, first period, second period, fourth period. And they have all of those student folders then within their period folders so they can easily access them at any time. It makes it very quick and easy to grade and assess student work. Another great thing that you can do with files in Google Drive is you can publish them to the web. All right, say for example, I was making a presentation. I'm going to open up a quick presentation here. I'll just call this sample. Let's say that I made this presentation, and yes, maybe you want the student to turn it in to you. They could put it in their portfolio, the folder like I just showed you. But even more powerful is actually taking this presentation and publishing it to the web so that anybody in the world would be able to see it. It's very simple to do. All I would need to do is go to File and choose Publish to the Web. Publish that to the web. Press Start Publishing. And now it gives me a link or an embed code. This is something really important in this class that you should know if you don't already, the difference between a link and embed code. A link, when you choose a link, it allows someone to click on that link and it takes them to a separate page so that they can see that presentation on a separate page. Embed code allows the embedding to show up directly on that page. So for example, if you've ever seen a blog that the video shows up directly on the blog page so you don't have to go to a separate page to view it, that's called embedding. All right, so Google Presentation gives you both choices. This really empowers students when they are able to publish something to the world. They can then share this link or embed code. They can put it on their blog or they can share it. You know, their parents can see it at home, their grandparents can see it in Florida or wherever they live, and it makes it a really, really powerful tool. One last thing that I wanted to show you that can be very powerful in education in Google Drive are connected apps. When you go to create, obviously you have the standard things that you can create, but you can see that I have some additional things over here on the right that you probably don't have in yours. I've got Floor Planner, I've got from Template, I can create diagrams, I can create documents in LucidPress. You can always go to the bottom here where it says Connect More Apps, and it will open up the apps that you can connect to Google Drive. It allows you to immediately open and work on files in these different programs right from Google Drive. And many of them even allow you to save your work directly in Google Drive, so it makes it easily accessible from any place. All right, that's just a quick tutorial to let you know a little bit about some of the cool things that you can do specifically for education in Google Drive.